Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Here we are, video number 1 in this series, and it will definitely be a series. We are building a deck. I am building a deck. Anyway, this is going to be a huge undertaking. This deck is going to be about 70 feet long, almost 75, and 16 feet deep from the house. And this 30-foot section over here is going to contain a swimming pool. So, right now, what I'm doing is layout, okay? I'll put up a graphic that my wife did. Now, she's not an architect. She doesn't do this for a living. She went to timbertough.com, I think it is, and did this rendering. They have all the tools right there, so you can kind of lay it out and see what it's going to look like. Now, where the pool is in that drawing is actually wrong. It's going to go back toward the house and farther toward the property line. You'll see. But anyway, I already did some staking out, and I have to change that part because I had it staked out for the pool to be farther this way, and it's going to go over and back. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I need to do to get that done. So yes, this is just a basic layout that I'm doing right now, but you want to be as accurate as possible because with all of this, the more accurate you are, the better the finished product is going to be. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use the side of the house, which is my constant. That's my straight edge, if you will. And that is going to determine the side of where the pool deck is going to be. And I need to stretch that out and get it marked. I'm using my new Bosch laser measuring tool so I can determine how far away from the house I am. Right about there. Now I'm just going to take this string and I'm going to tie it to this stake I put right next to the house. I'm going to stretch it out close to the ground and right along even with the house until I get out to that stake. I'll stake it in the ground out there and we'll make a mark. Just going to double check that my string is straight. That is 4 3/4. And that is 4 3/4. Perfect. Now I have my first edge line established. I'm going to do the same thing with the outside part of the deck along the house to the corner of where the pool is, and continue marking all the way around. So there you go, that's the first step. So what we're waiting on now is the pool needs to be installed. So once they finish installing the pool, then I can start building the deck. But until then, I'm going to draw up some more plans, some more detailed drawings of the substructure and the surface, so I have all the measurements and I know everything I'm going to do before I start doing it. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I need to know what I'm going to do before I start doing it. And guess what? Everything has changed. So of course we have a budget for this whole project, and the budget included the pool, but it also made the deck smaller than we wanted it to be. So thinking about it, and this, I shot that earlier part of this like about a month ago or more, it really came down to you can't rebuild the deck, but you can add the pool later. So what we're going to do is we're going to build the main part of the deck, and I'll show you a drawing that I did here. It's going to now be 24 by 40 instead of 16 by 40, and this plan here shows you where the beams are going to be and the perimeter of the deck. You can kind of see there with the sketch. Anyway, so this is going to be a post beam joist structure underneath the deck. That's what the substructure is going to be. But there's something very unique or interesting or different, I guess, not really unique, about this deck because this is Northeast Ohio. Let me show you what it is. So I think your typical deck would be connected to the house with a ledger board. I'm not sure you know what that is, but it's basically a rim joist that is bolted to the house, to the foundation, to the rim joist. inside the house. I was prepared to take the siding off and start with the ledger board, but I spoke to my dad and he said, Northeast Ohio, I would not do that. I would build it as a freestanding structure because it was 85 degrees a couple of days ago and it's snowing this morning. We get freeze thaw here in Northeast Ohio, and even though I'm going to dig the posts down more than 3 feet and put a good solid foundation under them, it could still move some. With the freeze thaw around here, it could move, and I don't want it to affect the house. Also, if I leave the house the way it is, I don't have to really do anything. It's already waterproofed, so I don't have to mess around with any type of waterproofing or worrying about water seepage behind the boards. This deck will be freestanding, but it's going to be built so close to the house that you won't even be able to tell that it's a separate structure. And so, of course, now you can see that this deck is obviously going to be a different shape. In order to allow for the pool, I intend to put temporary railing system. It'll still be strong and screwed in, but I'll be able to go underneath the deck and unscrew the railing posts. You'll see it when we do it. And then when we decide to add the pool, I'll just simply remove that railing, put the pool in, and build an extension to the deck out that way. But because it's 30-something degrees today and it's snowing, my dad and I are going to do some work inside the garage. Oh yeah, this is much nicer in here. I think it's about 60 degrees in here, which the heater that I installed, if you go back and watch that video, boy, is it a good heater. It really, really makes it, 60 degrees in here, 30-something outside. So this is my setup in here. I've got all of my 2x10s right here. This is going to be a key part to this whole operation. I converted my trailer into a workshop, basically. It's got all my tools in it. I've got a workbench here that was from one of the countertops that we tore out inside, and I've got my chop saw set up on the back of the trailer. So all I really have to do is plug in one cord, and I've got battery charger, I've got my chop saw, and I'm set to go. And then when I'm done working for the day, I just take the tractor and back this thing into the garage and I'm done. No cleanup. So anyway, as soon as my dad gets here, we're going to start putting these 2x10, well, actually they're double 2x10 beams together. That's going to be fun. Here, why don't you stay where you are and I'll drag it to you. Well, you don't have to step over that stuff. I'll set it right next to it. That's the crown right there. It's not much, but it's some. So the first thing we're doing is we're looking at each one of these boards and we're determining which side of it. Every board has a bit of a crown. Some of them have a lot of a crown, but we're going to figure out which way the crown goes, and the crown is going to go up on every board. So I just sighted that board. The crown goes that way, so I'm going to draw with a big arrow like that, so I know that side goes up from now on. Okay, next step is I want all of my nails to go 2 inches in from each side. So I'm just going to set my square here, put my pencil at 2 inches, and make a mark. That should be eye protection. There, now they're diagonal opposite of each other on each side. And that is one beam. Now all we got to do is do that 10 more times. That was more work than I thought it was going to be.
It went pretty fast.
It's because I had you. That would have been a real bear without you here.
Yeah, once you got those nailed together, they were pretty heavy.
Yeah, well, the tractor lifts them from now on. So, all right, next step is to wait for warmer weather, because I am not going outside and excavating the topsoil in this stuff. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow. And that is, once again, the reason we are not connecting this to the house. I really appreciate that advice you gave me. Yeah, with the freeze and thaw around here, best not to connect it to the house and mess with the foundation or anything. Leave the house as it is and build it right up next to it. So, next step, you will see on Saturday. If we don't continue tearing your pool down, we still have to do that. Which the news on that is, as far as things are going right now, we are not renting the E35, I think it was, the Bobcat E35 excavator. My brother has an excavator, which is much bigger than the E35, and he has graciously volunteered to bring it over, but we have to wait until he's available. So your pool demolition sits.
That's okay.
It's not going anywhere, right?
Nope.
Nobody's using it.
Nope.
Not in 35-degree weather. Nobody's going to have a pool now. We're not building ours, and you don't have yours, and nobody has a pool for this year.
Well, John has one.
Oh, well, yeah. Anyway, yep, that's going to be it for today. We at least did one thing. If you watch Neil from Dig Drive DIY, I'm taking his advice and doing one thing every day. Just try and do one thing, and you'll get it done. So we did one thing. It's a good step. So, all right, catch you next time when we are either building or tearing apart more stuff. See you then.